All right, Alex and Scott show officially back. Officially back from the hiatus. Dude, it's been too long since we've done one of these. There is the pressure of it not sucking, which I get, but I'm not worried about it. I can't suck any more than Voussoir last night.
I'm terrified of it sucking, and Voussoir did suck.
Yeah, it sucked real bad.
To be fair, we got to watch the debate, which was pretty fun.
That was
watching you just get stressed.
I don't want to talk politics. I don't even want to do it.
I just have such like troll brain that literally I thought it was fun just to text my family like, yeah, going too well. Seems like Trumpy boy is on his back heel right now.
Oh my gosh.
That's just my entire like personality though. It's like if Kamala was screwing up, I'd be texting my cousins to say, she looks pretty stupid now too.
She looks like a real fool.
Yeah, I just want to make fun of whoever is on the.
I was thankful we could actually sit and watch that because I was actually bummed I was going to be hosting all night long and not be able to just sit and watch the debate. Like I wanted to see it, you know. Like
now you're like I'd rather be doing hosting.
No, I'm glad I saw it. You know, you learn every time you watch either one of these people talk on that level of platform, whatever. You get to see them in longer format and stuff.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. You know. What the hell was I going to talk about?
I don't know. Dude. After this hiatus, the little.
We may throw this one away too.
That would be fine.
I'll talk about this. Fucking saw Shane Gillis in Atlanta, and he murdered. I told you a little bit about that the other night, but dude, sitting in. We were in the very back of the arena, and being able to sit back and see, like, I don't know how many thousands of people that stadium holds, or arena, or whatever. It's like it's where the Atlanta Hawks play. But sitting in the back, and he walked out to the biggest pop ever, and then it was just like, because the opener killed, the next guy sucked. He sucked bad. I was like, and people were booing him, and I was like, my buddy looked at me, and I was like, this is called eating a dick. This is what it is. It happens to everybody. Who knows? He came out and he tried to do an Atlanta reference joke that just fell completely flat, and
that's always I hate when comics do that. Yeah. When they come out, unless you have like some kind of like weird, insightful thing that you came up with. So many of them just come up with like the most generic. It's like Atlanta, you go there and it's like Peachtree Street. And it's like, what do you got? Peachtree Street? Peachtree Avenue? Peachtree Industrial Parkway? Right. Like that fucking joke or whatever. And it's just like, I get it.
Got it.
It's like the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Unless you came up with some kind of like Atlanta didn't even know about it type of thing.
Or everybody knows about it and nobody thought to mention it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but
you know, like Gillis had a one-off like that when he was talking about something, and he mentioned, I don't even know how he got there, but it was something to do with like homeless or veterans or something.
To be fair, you could use that anywhere, any American city right
now. Probably, yeah. But he was like, "Don't believe me? Go out and kick any one of those sleeping bags." And the place just lost it. It was
every single American city. If you listen to a podcast, it's like an LA guy. They'll be like, "God, the homeless problem here."
It's everywhere.
You listen to Austin, they're like, "God, there's homeless all over."
Jacksonville.
You go to fucking New York, homeless everywhere. It's like every single city. Jacksonville. We were just talking about it. Kira's like where her grandmother lives. She was like, there used to be no homeless like at all near there. There's like they're living under a bridge. There's like a little tent city built up. There's like 10 or 15 of them.
Unbelievable.
She's like, when I was growing up, you used to be able to walk around here. Now it's like you got 10 or 15. Who knows what's going on with them?
Yeah, right over here on San Pablo, they broke up a big community, and it was like they were like dragging tents and mattresses. They were like camped in there. It's just right down the street, right here.
My buddy lives in Ponte Vedra. Obviously, it's a pretty like nice area.
Yeah.
His kids were like setting up like tents and tree houses behind like the sign that says like "Welcome to Ponte Vedra" or something like that. And they thought it was homeless people for a little bit. So the whole like community was like, I think we have homeless people here now. And it was just like kids too.
Listen, I don't want to alarm anybody, but I think some less fortunates have wandered into our midst.
They don't make it to Ponte Vedra. They don't last long there.
Well, they had behind the Target at JTB. And
I do remember that.
That's technically Ponte Vedra, right? South of JTB on 3rd Street.
I would say you're probably
right.
They
had a huge encampment behind there. Huge. Like they had like 3-story apartments they had built out of tents back there.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was.
They had like a shanty town going on.
They did, yeah. Full on gypsies. They were trading buttons and stuff, whatever they do for.
Speaking of a shanty town, we just got back from Puerto Rico.
Oh, how was that?
It was great, but there was one point where you go to Old San Juan. There's like it's Old San Juan, right? It's been there for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And we go to the fort, and then right next to it, there was like, this is a nice restaurant. You guys should try it. To get to it, you had to go through like those chickens on the road and all. But like some of the buildings were coming in on each other. It was just interesting to see.
Yeah.
But it was a fun trip.
There's a place like that in Costa Rica where there's a major river that flows through.
Yeah.
And apparently in Costa Rica, the first like 50 yards or 100 yards off of a bank is public. Like the government doesn't touch it because during the rainy season that thing swells. That river will swell and retract, and so they have like a midpoint of that river, and then I think it's like 100 yards out or whatever it is. Yeah. They deem is like still might as well be the river, public waters or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's entire communities of people that build these homes out of like corrugated tin and just shit, and they live there. That's a whole river community. I went on a surf/mission trip years ago. We would kind of surf in the mornings, and then we were going and helping these people rebuild and fortify these like shanty, like stick together things. But it was wild, dude, because you'd walk in and have dirt floors, like the shit you would see around here. They've just like leaned up against walls and made rooms out of it. And then there'd be a damn satellite dish. Ooh, bless you. There'd be a satellite dish right there and a TV in there. And like, you don't have a door, but you've got a TV and satellite. It's like,
I mean, that's like common with homeless people here. It's like, you don't have anything, and then you have like a nice little like phone and
brand new iPhone, and you got like, you know.
To be fair, I kind of think you kind of still need that to a degree. I don't know. You don't need it, but it is a little bit more like, I don't know. If I need a job, they need to call somewhere, something like that.
I guess, yeah.
So there's a little bit of that, but
yeah, they're just like trying to catch the game. It's like you could all get up and work if you wanted, and maybe not be here.
I was talking about when we used to have that open mic in Justice Pub. Mm-hmm. There was a guy. So I started to know most of the homeless people in downtown because that's just, now I'm sure it's a whole new crew. But we were there every Wednesday, and there was one guy who started off homeless. He was like an older guy, like 65. He was like, I hate all these homeless people. They're all losers. I was like, okay. And then he got a job like sweeping at all the bars and like doing, like once they closed, he helped like close them all up. Mm-hmm. And then got like a full job at one of the bars, I think. Yeah. Got like his like a studio apartment and would walk around, and every time I see him, I'd be like, these homeless losers.
And he was just like, homeless like 6 months ago.
You were homeless.
Hey man, he wanted to
work.
But
I did like that, like, light just turned off.
Did it?
Yeah. I have no idea how any of these cameras work yet.
You're still rolling over here, buddy.
All right, cool. But yeah, I'm officially retired.
I'm living my life. In a second.
I'm full-time comedy. That's not true. But give it like 6 months, I'll be getting a job sweeping floors at bars.
Yeah. Do you have any plans on getting a job anytime soon or no? No.
I'm just chilling.
Yeah, just chilling. Just it's crazy because, and we've talked about this, but I had a pile of free time, and you were working all the time, and then you quit, and then I'm busier than I've ever been, and it's like, dude,
we could never even out our schedules.
What the hell?
Yeah,
I know, and the work that I'm doing has got me editing so much.
I have a feeling because I'm not looking for a job because I'm starting my own startup business thing, right? But I have a feeling the second you like get done with the hunting season, all that stuff, it's like 6 months down the road. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be like, I finally have time, Alex. Let's get grinding. Let's do it.
Company be
and then
up.
I'm gonna be like, I am trying to get this off the ground.
We're in 76 stores now. I can't sleep.
I have a feeling that's gonna be like with the dynamic. They'll just never line up where it's easy for either one of us to do anything.
And that's the other podcast I'm on. These guys, one dude, he's a cop. The other guy works. I mean, the cop. He works in the courthouse, so he can't even have a phone on him most of the day because he's guarding the people that are on trial. And then the other dude, he works in logistics, but they have like normal jobs, so they can't do anything till after 5. Or, Kenny, his schedule's a little bit more random. But then they're both divorced with kids, and so they get their kids on the weekends, or one has his kids full time. And I'm like, fellas, I need to record at like 4 o'clock on a Wednesday or like whatever, my weekends.
That was always our issue.
Yeah.
Is back, you have even when you're working, your hours are like so weird.
Yeah.
And it's like, everybody has a 9 to 5 job except for like you and like 3 other people I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe every comedian I know.
Until we're all full-time comedians, this is the tension we have to work around and have to manage, it's like.
But I think everyone I know is, that same dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then you're just like, you would text me when I was like, you would text me at like 2 in the afternoon every single week, being like, let's record the podcast right now. I'd be like, dude, I haven't like. Nothing's changed. Yeah. It's like the standard 9 to 5-ish hours. I had a little bit more than that, but like, those, and you've been so removed from that for so long that you don't even go like, well, it's weird that you guys like you think it's weird the other way.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you do all day? Dude, recently I have been on the grind. The grind. I mean, the last week and a half. I mean, I've been putting in like 7-8 hour editing sessions, which I try really hard not to work more than a couple of hours a day. I'm being serious because what I bring in value to my clients. I mean,
that's why you were texting me at 2 every day. Yeah. Like, well, dude, let's do something.
I really try to arrange my workflow where there's usually in a week, there's like a day where I'm shooting all day. That normally happens during a week. Like there'll be a day where I shoot all day. And then there's like the rest of the week, I just have to deliver on that project. And I schedule out my deadlines to afford myself creative freedom, room to like not be feeling it today and go, you know what, I need to go surf for a couple hours and then come back and then continue this or whatever. It just works well for me. I'm a happier person, like.
Also, like editing's kind of a grueling.
It is a gruel.
Like,
well,
it's not,
certain things are a gruel. So I was doing, hey, come buy this truck commercials, and that stuff is a gruel. Even when I write and direct a commercial, you can only like come buy this truck so many times, right? But what I'm working on now is a fishing show, and so when I'm filming, I'm on a boat, hanging out on a boat fishing. I'm holding a camera.
You would be doing anyways.
Yeah, something I would love to be doing anyway. And I'm not necessarily casting. All right, I'm holding a camera. I'm keeping the talent, the fishermen, in focus, ready to go all the time. But there's still that same like camaraderie, that anticipation of the bite. Like it's exciting. Like all day.
You're also doing it with a guy who's like
one of the best that's ever done it.
Yeah, so
he's one of the best that's ever lived.
Yeah.
And so there's that part. But then like I was talking to Lindsay yesterday. I edited from morning till night, and I was like, mentally exhausted because it's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But I told her, I go, it kind of feels like I just watched the Outdoor Channel all day. I'm watching one of the best fishermen on earth fish, and I'm making cuts, but I'm kind of making the show that I want to watch, and the pacing of the cuts and the storytelling. And dude, I get to create something that I would typically watch myself on a weekend. Like, let's put it on and watch the guy hunt or fish or whatever.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting to create that, and it's like, it's not grueling for me. It's actually very calming, because before I even put music down, it's nature. I'm just listening to birds and the water, and he's fishing. And sometimes he'll turn to the camera and talk and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, and like
there's also
he
no
catches
like
a fish.
I didn't think about this, but like you're actually making the content as opposed to like the ad that the content's attached to. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure trucks advertise for the outdoor show, like sometime, right? Mm-hmm. But like there's no like I have to move a truck at the end of this. It's kind of like, that's your guys' job. I just got to show you what happened and what's going on.
So there's a big difference between making the stuff that everybody skips to get to the content and making the content that people are skipping shit to get to.
Yeah.
And so I'm producing the content that you're like, skip. Oh, here we go. There's so much more reward in that.
Yeah, no, you're not.
My daughter.
I will say every once in a while on the YouTube, I would get your old ads, and I'd be like, Scott made that.
That's awesome. You know what? I don't think I've ever, maybe once did I ever see one of my commercials in the wild, like watching TV.
Well, obviously, I'm more of a truck guy than you.
Yeah, clearly you're a truck guy. No, I just don't watch a lot of TV. And so, you work all month long producing these spots, and then I don't even see them because I don't really watch a lot. I watch,
I think it was on
Netflix
YouTube I got them.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, YouTube pre-roll. We were doing a lot of that. One of my clients were doing stuff on Hulu, but I'm not.
Yeah. Once you made it, you don't watch it much. You
It's like I've seen it.
You're always outdoors.
But I did. I like to put you guys and my friends in these commercials and stuff. And like one of the guys that comes through here all the time, I put him in a commercial, and he called me. He's like, "Dude, I can't go anywywhere." Like I guess that one's doing really well. He's like, everybody's like, "Hey, are you that cowboy from that commercial?" He's like, "Yeah, I am." But that's why I was putting like Crespo and Mikey B and putting everybody in all these spots. Did I ever put you in one?
Nah.
You don't like acting.
It's not that. You also, this is once again like I had the job.
Yeah, so I was shooting during the day.
You'd be shooting during the day. I'd be like, I'm not. Yeah. And it'd be like 2 days before you'd let me know. It's like I can't take the day off now.
Yeah, to do free work.
Yeah,
I'm paying you in gift cards, buddy.
Yeah, I'll do it for a truck.
It helped me. Yeah, I tried to leverage that one too. I was like, listen, let's talk about our agreement here. They had this badass Denali Duramax diesel, and I was like, yo, what's with that truck over there? Because it'd been sitting there for a while, and I was like, I'll take it as a demo. Park my truck. I'll just drive it as a demo truck and put magnets on the side. I don't care. We'll just work it out. Like whatever you're paying me monthly, let's subtract that truck payment from it, or give it to me on top of it, and I won't raise my prices. And let me just drive the truck around. Like what I couldn't quite get them to agree to it.
Yeah, I'm sure not. Especially with how truck prices are now, where it's like a 6-figure truck.
Well, they were like, let's see how much yours is worth. Maybe we can do a trade. I was like, yeah, okay. Dude, they were like, we'll give you like $900 for your. I was like, get out of here. It wasn't quite that bad, but I was like, get out of here.
But you also have one of those trucks that like you can tell someone's used. Like the whole back end's been dented in. Mm-hmm. But I kind of like that with a truck.
It's a truck.
When I see a pristine truck, I'm always like, I don't like. You're probably not, especially if it's like kind of older. You're like, so then you never did anything with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Trust me, I would love it to be pristine.
Yeah,
but. And the way that it's dinged up is stupid. I backed into my own Jeep in my own driveway. Did you know that?
No.
I was backing up. I had the whole family with me. We were leaving somewhere, and I had a rack on the back of it with a cooler. And the cooler was blocking like this much of the backup camera. So I could see back, but it was like it was raining. So there was a water droplet on the camera. So everything's like all distorted. And I was like back. I thought I was lined up with my driveway coming straight back, but it was the driveway aprons, So I was headed this way. My Jeep is here. So I was like whack into my own Jeep. I was like, what? And the cooler was blocking that whole view. So all I had was clear driveway up the left side of the camera.
Gotcha.
And it was distorted because of a water droplet. And Lindsay looks at me. She's like, did you just? I was like, not another word. Not from nobody. Nobody says anything. I don't want to hear nothing.
I know exactly what I did, and I don't need anyone to rub it in right now. Give it a week.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what in the world? And yeah, so unfortunately it's dinged up. But I do take
How many accidents have you been in?
Oh, a lot.
You seem like the guy who would have been in a lot.
I haven't been in in a long time. But dude, when I was a kid, I had my license suspended a couple times for like too many. I've been
in the car with you. You seem like the guy who would have been
too many points in too short of a time and all that. Dude, I've totaled several. Now they weren't nice, expensive vehicles.
I've never been like a crazy driver, so anytime a girl would get like tense in the passenger seat, I was like, okay, you're just being like, because I'm not like
you're overreacting.
You're overreacting, whatever.
Relax.
Yeah, relax. Maybe you go 10 under the speed limit. That's your thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I get that way when you're driving sometimes, where I'm just like, oh god, I'm holding on to the thing.
I think when I'm driving with you,
we've also done long drives where you are the essential, like it'll be like, hey, 40 miles to your next stop, and then you don't think about you don't think about it again, and you get to the last like
there's the
0.2 miles, and you go, oh fuck, 3 lanes. Then we're all of a sudden like, all right, cool. Yeah. And you get whiplash side to side.
We end up, it just happens to fall this way. I think we drive a lot in like rush hour type times because we're going to shows that start at 7. We're going, you know what I mean? Like we end up in traffic. Yeah, it sucks, and I just have no patience.
Once again, you haven't had that 9 to 5 for a while. So
no, like I drive middle of the afternoon, nobody's out.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for the road. Appreciate all the clearance. Yeah.
No,
But
I think you're right. I think the timing of the shows and they'll be like an hour or two away sometimes, so that you leave at rush hour.
yeah, it's like, this is brutal. I'm tense. Mikey B's in the back clicking a pen. I'm like, I'm about to strangle him. You know. Well, that's a lot of times if it's me, you, and Mikey, you guys are like, da, 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 and I'm like, 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 just like, get me out of this truck, dude.
Also, though, you
Comedy.
yeah, he saw you and was like, no, and just left.
Well, I opened the front door. I go, I get car sick. Is it okay if I sit up front? He goes, sure. Step back and shut the door for me real quick. I was like, okay. Just shut the door. He's like, whoa, and leaves. I was like, what? It's like, why did I back up and shut the door? It was just like the way he asked. I was like, oh yeah, sure.
To be fair, though, it's like, what are you gonna do? Fight your way in there? It's like, all right, if he wants to leave, leave.
Yeah, all right. I'll catch the next one. Actually, was it Luik and Mikey V were walking out right after me, and I was like, Uber driver just drove away. They're like, get in with us.
So funny.
Like, what in the world? Yeah, that was. I'd never had that happen before.
I've only been in like one or two accidents myself.
Really?
Yeah, I got one with like a guy when I first started at Longhorn. It was the dishwasher, and like the day before, he was telling me that he was like, you remember that it was called like Gangland or something like that?
Yeah.
And they used to have like they'd follow like the Bloods in LA or whatever. He had one that was like the 42 Street Boys in Miami, and he's like, dude, if you look at that, I'm in it like 5 or 6 times, like just like throwing up gang signs. He told me that the day after I hit some car pulling in because I was driving my dad's big truck. And I always drove small cars. So I was like, I don't know how to do this. I hit his car. Went in, I was like, whose car is that? He was like, that's mine. I was like, oh shit.
Oh shit, he's a 42 Street man.
Yeah.
Shit.
He ended up being super nice. His last name was Innocent. So when I had to call the insurance company, they're like, all right, who'd you hit? I was like, Mr. Innocent.
You're gonna laugh. This is pretty funny. The guilty party's name is Innocent.
No, actually,
You hit his parked car.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Dude,
It was just me being like, I was 20 and just the first time driving a massive truck.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was like your kind of truck, whereas my dad hasn't. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I completely fucked his rear end up.
Yeah.
Just trying to get into a small spot.
My dad had a big truck like that, and I was driving my mom's car when I had my learner's permit and stuff. You know, she had a Plymouth Neon, so basically a little go kart. My dad had this big Dodge Ram extended cab, like my truck.
Yeah.
And I went to go take my actual driver's license test. My dad's like, I'll take him. Well, they made me take the test in his truck. I get in this thing and I'm like, yo, this is quite the vehicle here.
Yeah.
And so I hit, like, on a parking cone, there's the black square at the bottom and the orange cone up. My tire went over the corner of the black square, like, dunk, like looked out the window and the cone's just kind of leaning because my tire's on the black square. And he's like, I gotta fail you, man. I was like, for that? Are you? For 6 months or however long, and then
Driving a big truck is its own skill. Like every once in a while, when you do whip it into like a spot or something like that, I'm like, I couldn't do that.
you get used to it. You get it. To me, it doesn't even feel like a big truck anymore. I just get in it and drive.
It's just driving around, but I've always had my small ass Mazda or like something even smaller. I had a Saturn Coupe 2 before that.
Yeah.
So it's like I've always had small cars. I don't mind having a small car, but every time I get behind, like I was driving my dad's truck to Home Depot to pick something up recently. The same truck I smashed. It wasn't that bad. On our side, it was like no damage. His that got screwed up. But I was like, there was a small little spot to be like, hey, if you're picking something up, park here. I was like, nope, I can't do it. I can't get it in there.
Not doing it.
There was 2 trucks on both sides though that were already taken up. Like they were right on the edge of the thing. I was like, I'm not doing this.
Where I get into the most trouble is parking spaces that are tight front to back, not necessarily width-wise. I can get my truck into a narrow spot, no problem.
Yeah.
But when I'm backing out of a spot or pulling out of a spot, rope on that car and drag it out of my way. I'm so freaking pissed. Like, I hate it.
You can do that to your own car.
Yeah, dude.
But that's the one thing when I moved to Atlanta, I was so glad I had my Mazda because there's so much parallel parking there.
Dude, we were just in Atlanta. The traffic is so tight, and I didn't see any big trucks. Yeah. I was like, does nobody even really drive a big truck in Atlanta? Everybody had cars. Even the full size trucks were maneuver. Yeah, then I was like, and then after like day 2 of being up there, I was like, I wouldn't drive this thing up here either.
I think once you get like outside the inner city part, you probably get a lot more. Still some good old boys up there, but I think for the most part, yeah, if you're in the city, because some of the lanes there are tiny. I was in my Mazda, I'd be like, I'm almost hitting both sides of these right now.
When I get in a situation like that where it's that tight, I just straddle the line. I'm like, I'm taking both of them. Like, because I don't want somebody to pass me, hit my mirror, clip me. You're sitting down here lower than me. I don't see you. I turn into you, trying to change lanes. I'll just straddle them and be like, well, I'm going the speed limit. I'm not slowing anybody down. Sorry, everybody. Especially when they're doing road construction, when they're like painting new lines, they usually paint them real narrow because they're still trying to take 3 lanes and keep it 3 lanes, and then I'm just like, well, I'll take these 2 for myself. And then people probably look at me like, this asshole taking the whole road. It's like, well, if I don't, you're going to clip me or I'm going to brush up against this concrete thing. It's like, I'm not an asshole. They just made the road too small.
In Jacksonville, it's not a huge problem. Down there, every road is like that way. And then every once in a while here, especially on the north side, there are so many roads where you're like, why would they build it this way?
It's back when, which back in the day, cars were huge. Those big, giant Plymouth, like battleship cars. There was like...
Yeah, but also...
I'm not talking about the Model T. Like during the 60s, the 50s and 60s when cars were huge.
The station wagon.
The panel wagons and the big Cadillacs.
I don't know if they were that... I haven't seen
Were they wide or just long?
Kind of a little bit of both, right?
Yeah. So, like, how old are these streets?
But I feel like they're still smaller than what today's like. Like, if you look like what an old Mustang looks like versus just any car today.
Tiny.
It's tiny.
Tiny.
Even that truck we were doing the shoot with, that like 1965 Ford or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a pretty, think about how small that truck is.
That was an original Ranger.
Okay.
So that's supposed to be a small truck. But for a Ranger, it was big. You think about that.
Yeah, it's actually not wrong.
So, but
I didn't know it was a Ranger, but
that was kind of the original Ranger. It's like an F100 or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude, I wrecked a 4Runner. Actually, I towed it to my house. My dad towed it with his truck, and turned out the spark plugs were just in the wrong order. My friend's older brother had the same truck, and he came over with his manual, and he's like, go ahead and hit it again, whatever, and found out that like 2 of these plugs weren't right, so we switched them. Boom, it just worked. I was like, ha, this is awesome. $250, hell yeah. I drove that thing for a little while, but I traded it for a Jeep. I traded it for a whatever. So anyway, I traded up, and I got this 4Runner, and it was an 87. The thing was sick. Lifted, super cool.
I assume all your cars were lifted at one point.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had a stock vehicle actually, but so I was driving down Doctors Lake Drive, and it takes a hard right turn up over some train tracks, and so I'm like, and I go to like downshift into second and slow down, but the front brakes just locked, and the tires are at an angle, so I'm just sliding, and it just rained, and I'm sliding, and I wasn't even going that fast, but it was enough that went turning the wheel a little bit and. Thinking. So I leaned my head in the window and I was like, shut up.
Why would you be angry? You did screw up. Only you would be like,
no. Well, so I go, shut up. And she stops talking. I go, now, are you okay? I go, and then I go, what was I thinking? I said, they call them accidents, not purposes.
Okay.
And that thing was totaled.
I'm sure it was.
But I think that actually worked out to my benefit. I paid like $2,500 for that thing, or $2,700, And the insurance company wrote me a check for like 42. So I was like, hell yeah, son.
Yeah, we had to kill an old lady for it.
She had it coming.
Yeah.
No, I genuinely felt bad. But like, stop screaming long enough for me to make sure you're okay. When I saw that she was an older woman, I was like, my concern was like, are you all right? Because I was already on the phone, like calling I was walking up to her 911 because I just hit this car pretty bad. And then when she was yelling at me, I'm like, yes, this is all my fault. Like, I'll give you that. Your day was going better before you met me. However, I'm not going to sit here and have you just yelling at me like this. Let's neutralize the panic. Let me ask you if you're doing okay. Do I need to help you get out of the vehicle? Where you at? You know, like, shut the fuck up.
I've never had.
You cunt. I know. If that was your mother or grandmother and you recall this story, I genuinely do apologize. That's no bueno.
Sorry for killing Aunt Susie.
Yeah, sorry about that. Oh, and I just realized when you said the light went off, that's when it switches.
Oh.
And I can turn that off so it's not distracting, but I just saw it switch.
Now that I know what it is, it doesn't bother
me at all. I just put it together just now. I was like, that's not working. Oh, it's on. I got it. All right.
Anyway. I've never been like in an accident. I've only been in fender benders.
Really?
Like any kind of like actual people could be hurt. I've never even been close to.
Really?
Yeah. Just because I'm like a pretty like
defensive driver and all that.
Yeah, I don't go. I mean, I go a little fast. Like I probably go 5 to 10 over, but nothing like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of that Australian guy, that comic that opened up for Gillis.
Yeah.
He's Australian. He was talking about traffic laws here and how it's basically the speed is just a suggestion. And his bit was hilarious. I'm not going to go into it, but it was just about just that. Like, I'm going to go a little more.
Yeah, no, he's a guy. I text you. I'm thinking about trying to book him.
We should. I actually messaged him.
Did you?
Yeah, I said, hey, saw you at Shane Gillis. You absolutely killed. I'm a Jacksonville-based comic. I book shows. Rooms at varying sizes. What are your rates? At least get the conversation going.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna start doing. But I don't want to start doing comedy talk right now.
I know. I just figured I'd bring it up, dude. I flipped a car 2.5 times.
2.5?
Yeah, I was a passenger in this one. My buddy Phil Murphy. Phil, what's up, bud? We were pulling out of a church parking lot. My band had played there, and I know this guy. So we were pulling out of this parking lot. We had all of our gear.
The fact that you're not like in a wheelchair or something like that is insane.
Dude, I know. I've lived a rough one. So we're pulling out of this parking lot, and as we roll up to the stop sign, I go, hey, Phil, you want to get safe? And he's like, oh, yeah, good call. And he buckles up and goes to pull out. Well, as he pulls out, there's this car coming down the road. It's a back road.
Yeah.
Like speed limit of like 25, maybe. And so as he's pulling out, he realized that this car is going like 80. So he just floors it to try to get around this car. And so he floors it. This car is coming too fast. He's in a truck, similar to mine.
Yeah.
Boom, hits the front of this car, and we just ramped off of it, Dukes of Hazzard style. We flipped into this parking lot. Do you know where the dog track is in Orange Park?
Yeah.
And we flipped into the parking lot of a apartment complex. And there just happened to be 2 dudes that were moving a couch into their apartment. And so they dropped the couch and called 911. The truck rolled, and it landed on the driver's side. Scratch that. Landed on the passenger side. So I was on the ground, and Phil was dangling by his seatbelt. I'm like, dude, aren't you glad you buckled in? And so he unbuckled, and he kind of falls down, and we stand up because the truck was big enough for us standing up in it. And we're like, the fuck? So we're trying to kick the windshield out so we can crawl out the front. But, tempered glass. It was just like ballooning out because it's already shattered, but it just won't break like that. So
they're designed not to really do that.
Yeah. And then he was like, radio's still playing. Just like lowers that window that's like right above our head. We just like crawl out the driver's side, and I jumped up, and I'm standing on the side of the truck like this, and there's just lights coming from everywhere because it's not far from the fire department or whatever. There's ambulances and fire trucks coming. I'm like standing on top of this vehicle. I just jump off and like land on the ground. And this paramedic is like, hey, are you all right? You were just in a real bad accident. I was like, I feel fine.
Yeah.
And Phil, how are you? He's like, I'm great. So, but the truck is just twisted.
Wrecked, yeah.
Oh, and all of our gear was the gear was stacked nicely underneath a little palm tree. I feel like angels grabbed that stuff and just neatly stacked it there. Because I was like, what about all the... huh, how about that? It was just like kind of sitting there. Like, what the world? It was not like anybody took time to make sure the gear was okay when they're,
The guys moved the couch. We're like, you know what? Let's.
Yeah, no, it's just there's no other explanation.
When they get done, they'll want this.
Yeah, there's no other explanation for that. That it would just be nicely stacked under this little Sago palm. Yeah. But anyway, but it was so crazy. So I called my parents because I was still living at home at the time. I was in high school, and I was like, hey, listen, I know it's late. Me and Phil got in a little fender bender. It's not even a big deal. We just got to fill out paperwork, and I'll be home shortly. And she's like, everybody's all right? I was like, yeah, it was nothing. I just like totally downplayed it because if they'd have known, they would have rolled this truck multiple times, like they would have panicked.
Those so the next day, like roads like that, there's always somebody going like, when we used to live like in Knockety before it was like built out, and there would always be some fucking like guy in his 20s just ripping down that road in a truck usually, and you're like, dude, this is like a 25-mile-per-hour road that just connects to like, it's like connected to a road, but they just rip through. As long as it's long and straight, they fly through it. Right. There were so many times you had to like really check on that on that road. It was actually dangerous as hell.
Dude, my parents were pissed the next day.
Oh, I'm sure.
They were with my mom, so she gets photos. This is back when you actually have to develop photos. So it's like the next day, like Phil's dad, who's a very powerful guy, like they're in the hotel business, very wealthy, got plenty of attorneys. So I guess he went down there and took photos or whatever. I'm not sure if it was him or whoever took the photos, got them delivered, showed my mom like the next day. And my mom's like, that is not a fender bender. Yeah. Like, come here, sit down. We got to talk. I was like, I knew that if I told you, hey, Mom, Phil and I just rolled his truck. Lucky to be alive. You'd have panicked. Like, you guys are in bed. You're sleeping. Like, I knew I'm fine. We'll talk about it tomorrow. You know?
And then you didn't bring it up, bosso, the whole day.
Well, I kind of knew it was going to come out eventually. Yeah. You know, it's funny, too, is like I had this scar on my hand. I was working at Ace Hardware at the time, and I was cutting something. I cut my hand. And so I had 6 stitches in my hand like 2 days before that. Yeah. And so I was kind of wrapped up a little bit, but it was, wrapped almost like a fighter would wrap his hand so you could still move your fingers because you could play guitar. So it was just like right through here and just kind of wrapped so that it wouldn't break open while I was playing. And at school and stuff, everybody's like, oh my gosh, was that from the accident? I'm like, nah, actually, I cut myself with a box cutter 2 days ago. This is completely unrelated. Literally not a scratch on me.
Had a rough week.
It's
like Final Destination.
Yeah, dude. What do you think about it? Like, how many kids every year will die in some stupid car wreck because you're a new driver, you're making dumb choices, and you're just...
I was not one of the lucky ones who got like a paid for car in like high school, but every time I was like the passenger, some guy would be going 100 miles per hour, and I would always the girl tense up thing, like, why the fuck are we doing this?
Yeah, I made a guy let me out one time.
Yeah,
this guy wanted to take us surfing, and before we could get to the highway, he was ripping around. I was like, hey, you know what? Pull over. And he was like, what's up? I was like, actually, I think I asked him. I was like, hey, man, chill out. And he wouldn't. And I was like, I don't think this is cool. Like, you're doing this so that I think you're cool, but I don't think this is cool. And he wouldn't listen. I was like, just let me out. And so I got out, surfboard and all. I don't even know who I called. One of my buddies or something. I was like, dude, I'm not riding with this asshole. Like, I'll see you guys later. Like, this guy's going to die in a car crash.
I never got the thrill of it. And also, I've seen a couple bad accidents, like from a distance, as opposed to like me not being in a metal. Yeah, but like I think that makes me just go like, no, I don't need that.
I will say that I can be a distracted driver, and I'm a very impatient driver.
You're so impatient.
I'm a very impatient driver.
On the flip side, like if I zoned out and I just like notice the exit is like 3 lanes over,
you'll just go get the other one.
The next exit, I fucked up. In Atlanta, when you're driving around, everybody is doing the 3 lanes over because it's just, and you're like, you fucked up.
Right.
Don't risk everyone else's fucking life because, and one happened, it was on JTB the other, like a week ago. I'll tell the whole story in a second. Somebody.
Some woman. Some woman who's really good at math.
It was not I was in the middle lane of the 3 lanes, and the person in the far left pulled a hard right to come over last second, got into like the little median white area where it's like starting to split. Barely missed like the little like canister things they put. Gets in and get on the exit, right? So then immediately after, so I don't know if that was a boy or girl actually, But immediately after, I went on I-95 and somebody was going like dangerously slow.
Yeah.
And I was like, probably like 35.
Just as dangerous.
And you're like, that's super dangerous. And a few minutes because she was the reason I was like annoyed is she was blocking like the whole get in over onto 95 because we were going from JTB to switch over.
Yeah.
And she's blocking all of us. So it took me like a minute, but I go, all right. And we look over and it's an Asian woman. And I just started laughing.
Not only are you a woman, but you're Asian.
I was like,
You couldn't calculate the risk.
ooh, doubling the stereotype right now. We thought it was bad. It was even worse. And she just shut up instantly and started laughing. I was like, all right.
There's Lindsay's mom, rest her soul. She used to say DWA, like, oh, driving while Asian.
Okay. I'm sure there's plenty of great Asian drivers out there.
I for sure. And I just spent the first half hour of this podcast talking about how shitty of a driver I am. So I got no leg to stand on.
Actually, there's like two guys in Formula One right now that are one's from Japan and one's from China. To think about the leaps and like culturally, what a I never thought about that until right now. But
these guys are breaking glass ceilings all over the place.
Seriously.
That's wild.
Okay.
Here it goes. I'm actually a really, really, really good driver. I'm also a pretty horrible driver. Now, let me explain. Take away all the rules.
Okay.
Take away all
The raw
ru-
skill sets are there. The tangibles are there.
I'm talking about racetrack wild country driving. Dude, I'm good. I can back a trailer at 40 miles an hour. I can drift around turns. I've gotten my truck out of more mud holes. I can drive.
Yeah.
I can drive in the sense that, like, hey, we're going to hire a driver if we're going to get through this challenge.
Yeah.
Like, that's me. Now, you put me out on Beach Boulevard from here to downtown, I will break rules. I'm going to cut somebody off. So I'm the best, worst driver.
Okay.
I'm the best, worst. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
I'll compete with anybody.
It actually really does make sense because, like I said, you do whip that truck around.
Bro, I'm nasty with it.
smoothly, yeah.
I'm nasty with it. Shit, we're gonna pick up some fun people. We're gonna show up with some supplies, and we're gonna find a faster route.
I like that you live your life like the zombie apocalypse could be at any point.
What?
You say this. You
What, you
said
got
this
your
to
head
me
in the
multiple
sand?
times. Where I'm just like, yeah, I mean, maybe that'll happen. Just goes when it happens, come to my place. Like I got this.
It's a real invite, not for everybody out there, not for everybody. Those loved ones,
But it's almost like you're waiting for it to happen. It's like, dude, I can't wait.
dude. During the pandemic, Publix ran out of toilet paper and chicken, and all of a sudden, people started calling me. Hey, man. Hey, you have any? You know where I can get some? I'm like, I'm gonna stop you right there. If you don't know how to hunt and fish, don't call me when there's no more meat at the grocery store. Because these same assholes are like, "Why do I need to learn how to hunt and fish?
Yeah.
But there's Publix right up the road." It's like, dude,
Oh,
one little virus, and there's no red meat at Publix, and you guys are freaking out. I told Lindsay, I was like, I'll go to the woods. I'll be back in 2 hours. We're eating.
I'm totally on board with that. I just don't know how to do it. Like I no toilet paper.
Right.
I was like on my last roll, and they're like, "Dude, if you didn't get it
I wrote a
yesterday, you
song
don't have
about
any."
it.
And then I had to. The office I worked at, I basically like went to work one day when we didn't like need to, and I just stole all the toilet paper they had. I was like, I don't know how long we're off enough. They had those big like public the ones like that. And I walked down with like 4 or 5 of them.
Yo.
I was just walking them out with like all my hands.
Like, don't mind me. Nothing to see here.
Nobody was like in the
Nobody's
building,
working.
So
Nobody's using them in there. Yeah. Like, well,
so I was just like, whatever, man.
yeah.
It was so
Nothing
fun.
to see here.
But for like, it did suck though, because those last a human being like a month each, because it's like built for like a week for like a office.
Super thin.
And my ass for the next 6 months was like,
Actually, like, what am I gonna do? It's like, well, go take a shower. Like, I don't know what to tell you, dude.
I was up to like 3 showers a day.
Man, yeah, I mean, fuck. But yeah, zombie apocalypse. I don't think it'll be zombie. I really don't. You know what I think it'll be?
Like,
you know what I really think it'll be? It'll be our electrical grid. I think it's flimsy. I think it's over stressed, and it wouldn't take much to take it out. And like,
I think when like something does happen in World War III, it's like one hacker and like wherever
we're so reliant,
knock it all out.
We're so reliant on technology for everything.
Yeah.
Even our vehicles, the right what is it called? Whatever surge. If you're listening to this, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. It can wipe out all those computer chips in all of our cars, and can't drive, can't go anywhere. You're back to walking, or like you see what happens in, like Houston. They were without power for like a week and a half. My friend Doran lives out there. He's like, people are getting weird. People get weird, man. Like your power goes out, your food in your fridge starts to spoil. You're running out of the things that whatever, and then your family's hot. You're irritated. You start to panic. And it wouldn't take much for that to happen in a large city or whatever.
I think I've said this a couple times to you, but perchance I went to Puerto Rico this weekend, but my buddy who was a lineman, he went down there when they lost power like 5 years ago now, and they were like getting shot at and stuff trying to set up power because it was like it just became the Wild West because it's like we haven't had power for like a month.
Yeah.
And they were getting like paid crazy well, but it was like, dude, it's actually starting to get like straight up dangerous.
Yeah,
like,
that's so crazy you brought that up. So one of our bartenders here, her husband is a lineman.
Really?
And he was telling me the same thing. They deployed them to go somewhere. I can't remember where it was. Maybe, I don't think it was the same, but maybe it was Houston or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And he was saying that they had to have armed like cops and guards and stuff while they were working on getting the power on because people would come up with a gun and go, stop what you're doing. We need power in this town. And like hold him at gunpoint, like you're gonna come with me and you're gonna fix my power because people are desperate.
Yeah.
You got a kid who needs to be on this or that, like you got a baby that needs whatever, and it's like people are panicking. I think that's what like if you're gonna talk about prepping and stuff like that, like I'm a big bushcraft guy.
Yeah.
And so I like to do survival stuff. I go into the woods with nothing, rope, tarp, knife, trap it, kill it, survive for extended time. I love doing it. I don't like to go camping. That's just an uncomfortable night's rest. I'd like to go and do a survival where we're sleeping in the dirt, making shelter, or whatever. I love that stuff because I think it's most applicable. Because the thing, it's not going to be zombies. Navigate by water, by using a map. Like I can get in my boat and I can go up and down the East Coast and find a safe place, get off, live in the woods for a little while. Like I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Now, your government takes over, whatever. Like there's all these like things that people prep for, and I'm like, dude, if the government really want to take us out, well, you can't hide anywhere.
Yeah,
but you can hide from your neighbors if they're acting crazy over supplies that are diminishing. I can take what I need and I'll just hide out somewhere until I figure out a plan.
Yeah.
So that's the way I like to look at it.
No, I don't think that's.
And it sounds absolutely ludicrous until you see, like, when my dad was in Dallas. My dad was in Dallas when that big snowstorm happened a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And they were stuck, snowed into this little hotel because he was there visiting, doing whatever. He was snowed into this hotel. The roads were so bad, nobody was going anywhere. Could not go anywhere. They could walk to this little convenience store on like half mile from where he was staying, like right there. And he told me, I'm talking to him on the phone. He's like, you know what? I had a thought today. He's like, I walked over to the convenience store and everybody's been going there, but no more food is coming in. It's actually getting very slim pickings. He said, so he told my stepmom, he goes, we could be here another day. We could be here another 5 days. I have no idea. So he went down there and bought like non-perishables and like stocked his hotel room. He's like, I legit, like everybody's getting what they need for the day. He's like, I got what I need for the month. He's like, I went in and got what I needed because it's gonna run out. And he told me, he's like, I'm looking at rows of semi trucks that are just parked. They can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Whatever's in there is gonna spoil or whatever, but it's not being delivered to this little store. And everybody in this hotel is doing this and that. He's like, I can see where this is going. I need to get it before these shelves are bare and there's nothing more to get.
I think if we end up in any kind of war situation with like another powerful country type thing, the first thing to do is knock all the power out.
Huh,
I think that's like day one, like stuff where it's like, yeah, the grid's just knocked out.
Right.
You're not doing computer stuff. You're not doing this.
No.
I mean, that's why I've always been big on care and trying to get like a generator type situation.
Generator for sure. And then you need to know how to build a generator. Do you know how to build a generator?
Yeah, dude. You go to Home Depot.
You go
I have no idea how to build a generator.
Here's how you do it. You take the alternator out of a car.
Okay.
Because what is the alternator's job?
To alternate.
No. There's a pulley on the front of that alternator. Listen, I'm teaching you something how to survive.
I hear you. This is a public exposure of how lame I am. How like not a man I am.
Listen,
To be fair, like I think 99% of people are the same way I am.
Okay, well then listen up. I'm going to save your life. So you pull the alternator out of a vehicle. It has one pulley on it. When that pulley is spinning, it is generating electricity. Its job is to charge the batteries, right?
Okay.
So you take the alternator out, and then you steal as many batteries as you can from as many cars you can get a hold of.
Yeah.
Daisy chain them together. You know what that means?
Yeah.
Just link them together.
Link them
And you could steal the cables right off the cars, hook it all up. Take your alternator, bolt it to a table, I don't care. Windmill. So you can make a windmill out of anything. Yard signs, political yard signs, whatever you need.
Yeah.
As long as that thing is spinning, and it's spinning that pulley, you're generating electricity.
Huh.
And so you can make something like that in an afternoon, set it up in an area that has trade winds. So we know here our prevailing winds are west and northeast. So I can either put it on a swivel or I can have two of them, one that faces west, one that faces northeast, charging those batteries. I'll have a battery bank. I can weld. I can heat and cool. I can do whatever I need. I don't need your grid.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of, I love that kind of stuff because most people are not thinking about that. And if you just, one wrench, you can have power.
Yeah.
You know, we already know, like the technology's been invented. The alternator exists. And all these cars, that one, they all have one. So if that one fails, just go get another one. You know, these batteries died, go get another battery. You know, and everybody else would be, oh, we don't have power. Well, my house is, maybe not the house. You'd have to really generate a lot. But you can
probably have to steal some car batteries from people and stuff. But yeah, to be fair though,
it's easy to do that at gunpoint. Like, I'm taking this car battery. Thank you.
To be fair though, like let's say the grid's like down, no one's buying car batteries. You can go buy a few too. Like you know,
you're taking them out of I'm saying, how bad is it?
Yeah.
If you're having to make your own generator,
it's probably pretty rough. Yeah.
Then you're just taking a battery. Like, I've got 3 cars at the house, right?
Yeah,
so I'm taking one out of the Jeep. We're not driving the Jeep today, or maybe I do. Jeep's got a winch on it in case I need to clear a path. You know, I don't know. So you start thinking about what you can cannibalize on the things you already have.
Well,
because the generator runs on gas. How long are you going to have access to gas?
Yeah,
people are going to panic by that
real quick.
Yeah,
that happens every hurricane.
Oh yeah,
every hurricane, people are like, I need to get gas in the car.
I know I'm coming off real tinfoil hatty right now. I get it.
Yes and no. But
it's more like just useful skills that.
The zombie apocalypse is like a joke one and all that,
Yeah.
but like there is like a realistic chance of like at least the power going down or whatever, something like that.
We live in a state where every single year giant storms threaten our power grid.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that crazy to have
that's
a generator
why I'm big
and have
on,
some.
I want to get a generator with like the solar power thing.
Yeah.
So that way it's like you have enough to get through how
Yep.
long. And that way it's like you can keep it going too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there was one time, I forget what it was, but it was like that year, I think like 5 hurricanes hit, like Charlie and all these other ones.
Yeah.
We were out of power for like 2.5 weeks, and that was
a long time.
It's annoying. It's
a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to make me want to bulk up on a few things that I need around the house, actually. Because I have a bunch of like Freedom Food. I don't know if you've ever heard of that company, but they sell really delicious, non-perishable foods that you can dry store for a long time.
Was it kind of like astronaut food? You ever try that? It's like little bags that like are just like
yeah. You add water.
It'll last forever. Yeah.
And I have a bunch of that stuff. But it's worth having. It's worth having more because it packs down flat. Mine's in like a flat tote, you know, and it's like this. And here's the thing: Don't store more that, like, I don't know. Now we're getting to prep talk, right?
Yeah.
But don't store more than how long you're willing to stay without moving. Because people will be like, I've got 6 years worth of this. And it's like, do you plan on being here for 6 years after the shit gets weird?
Yeah.
I'm trying to mobilize, dude. I want enough to keep me good for like a month or 3 months. And that's ammo, food, water, you know. Because after that, I'm going to be taking your resources. I don't have to have it. I need to have enough to get my plan together and then take what I need as I go so my family can survive, you know.
Well, it is
I know it sounds brutal, but it's like, put me back to the Stone Age. We're going to.
we every time we go somewhere, try to order like whatever they eat there.
Yeah.
And we order something. She goes, "Should I get the chicken?" I go, "It's gonna be fresh.
It's going to have a name.
It's gonna be fresh." You might have seen it outside on the way here.
Yeah, it's going to be fresh.
Which I didn't expect to see because it is like America. It's like it's not like it's, but I think we also just went down a weird road where
You could walk around a road here and end up like that. I mean,
you're not wrong.
You walk down the wrong road in Middleburg, there's chickens in the yard.
Yeah, you're not
You're
wrong.
like, what's going on? And it's just normal if you live in the sticks.
Yeah.
You know, I want to get quail. Quail are quiet. They don't like a chicken's like annoying, you know, and takes up a lot of space. Quail doesn't take up a lot of space and they lay eggs like crazy. And basically size wise, like four quail eggs is about a chicken egg. So you can have eggs all the time. And if the quail is not laying or getting old, you kill it and you can eat a quail.
Yeah.
And they're inexpensive. You can have them. We can have them right here in the neighborhood. I've really thought about doing that because I like eating eggs, and I don't want to have like I want to have an egg. That used to live in this neighborhood that had a friend with chickens, and he would always go there and get like 3 dozen and be like, "You want some?"
It's nice. I mean, Garrett's starting to make a garden in the back, and every once in a while we'll like use the peppers and stuff she's making. It's like that's kind of just convenient.
Dude, in Atlanta, we were on north, just outside of Atlanta, and there was a community garden like at the corner going over to my buddy's place. And I was like, dude, check that out. And it was just like, there's probably like 50 raised beds, all pretty big, like maybe 10 foot by 10 foot raised beds. And I was like, so what's the deal? He's like, you can rent a raised bed. So like a lot of people don't have yards. So you just go there and plant your cucumbers or tomatoes or whatever it is. And then everybody in there is kind of like friendly with each other. So it's like, yeah, you want some zucchini? Sure. Can I have some okra? And they're like, you're getting all this really awesome raised right here, grown organic stuff.
I like that. I think as I get older, that's going to be like I've even been dropping hints on Kara, being like, we should move to the country and get some farmland,
get a little piece, a little piece of land.
Nothing like too crazy where it's like impossible to like actually manage, and you're like trying to make money off it or something. Just like this gets us through the day, or even if it just saves you like some money or something. It's like something to do during the day. Like if I retire, I think that's what I'm for real retire.
I would like to have. This is the dream, right? I want to have about 1,000 acres.
Nice.
About an hour outside of town, attached to a large body of water or deep water access.
Yeah.
That way, you can drive into town, you can hang out, you know, but then you can also kind of have your own spot, put the boat in the water, do your thing. But that's a tall order.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Yeah. Lindsay and I looked at a couple of them. We have an idea of acquiring a property like that and running weddings on it, like have a big pole barn, doing like the barn wedding thing and letting the weddings pay down the property, and doing like high ropes and low ropes courses and team building and stuff like that. There's 2 properties that we've gone to look at, and I gotta buy this with like somebody else's money. Okay, like I can't go in there. I can't go in there and just pick the tab up on this. And so I'm looking at a couple of friends that are like-minded. We like to hunt. We like to fish. Like we can manage this, you know, several hundred acres of property for hunting. We can also leverage like these 15 acres over here for these weddings. And then we have a resource that we can hand down in our family for generations. Because right now, Bill Gates and the Chinese are buying up all of our property. It's just true.
No, they are.
It's wild. Like America is going to run out of its own natural resources, which is our dirt. because China is going to own the land of America. They're buying it in droves.
Yeah.
And so how do you, you know,
That's actually one thing, like, we talk about, like, not getting political, but one thing I think universally people are kind of on board is like, why are we allowing that to happen? Just because, like, it's
weird.
Everyone's like, I can't afford to live anywhere. It's like, well, we're letting, like, foreign countries buy all the property.
It's a little weird.
It's like, it does raise the value, like, of everything because they're buying up everything. And it goes, well, now I can't afford a house. Like, it screws the citizens of your own country. It's also kind of weirdly probably helps them in a weird way. It's like, well, there's no benefit to it.
Well, here's the thing too, and
Unless you already own all the
so
property.
you got China, right, who's buying up all of our land. It's just they are.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So they're buying up our land. They're also supplying us with all of our imports. Most of them, we get so much from China. Yeah. So we're dependent on them for everything that they're making. They're owning our land. They're going to take us over and never fire a shot. That's how
modern wars are going to be fought, though.
I think so.
When everybody has nuclear weapons, you can't shoot.
It's a big giant standoff.
Yeah.
It's like, well.
So now what you do is you fight people economically and do like social. That's why all this like, I don't want to get weird, but all the like stuff on like the Twitter and stuff, it's like all bots doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's trying to influence public opinion.
Yeah. Keep everybody divided.
That's how you win a war.
This is the Alex and Scott show. And,
I'm the one who got weird at the end.
I'm actually on a podcast called I'm Gonna Need Another Drink for This, where all we do is drink and unpack conspiracy theories. You should check that out for more talk like this.
Yeah.
How about that comedy scene?
Yeah. I don't think anything we said is that crazy. I think most people kind of think that's true too. I mean, there's evidence.
That's not too crazy.
But it is the reason we're like kind of getting weird is like it's what right wing guys talk about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you got a couple of conservative blokes here just enjoying their day.
I'm more middle than you, but like
that's where I think people confuse me a little bit. I'm fiscally very conservative, but I'm socially very liberal. Like I don't care what you do, who you do it with. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I'm conservative, right? And so me and my brother, he's a liberal atheist. I'm a conservative Christian, but we see eye to eye on so much because there's so much of my liberal, like socially liberal side where I'm like, freedom is that. It's just freedom, but freedom is afforded to those that are conservative in their values because you fight and protect for those freedoms. The other side is like, well, I want more freedom. It's like you only get that if you're conservative, because if you give away your freedoms, you're now dictated, and now you're a slave, and now you have relinquished the ability for everybody to do what they want because it's cannibalistic. So there's like this beautiful middle ground, which is so difficult now because it's been wiped away. Because like we were saying, keeping us divided is how the government gains strength. And so there is no middle ground anymore. We've been pushed into extreme camps, and anybody's labeled one way or the other.
But nobody is that way. I mean,
nobody really is, other than like social media will tell you that.
I've met a couple people that are that way, where you're like, how are you?
Right. Like, what are you doing?
What's going on?
What's happening? Touched you.
To be fair, usually I do think it is like they are dealing with something else and they're not willing to like admit that. But that's rare. Like that is not that's what annoys me so much about the way the world is right now. Is they show like the extreme this way, the extreme this way. Everybody like it's 1% both sides, right? It's like the guy who Channel 5 with Andrew whatever his name is. It's like. That's interesting. It's fun to watch, but also like that's not real life for anybody.
Very entertaining.
And like when I don't know if we did this on one of the last pods because it was like around that time, but I did that honor flight with my dad.
Yeah.
And my dad came back and he's like, he is like a Fox News guy. Like, he is that guy. Everything Fox News says, he's fucking
all in.
You're right. There's all that, right? And he was like, America's not what I thought when I fought for when I was like going to Vietnam and stuff like that. I go, but did you see any of those people when we went to D.C.? Like, did you see any of them? Like, that's a major city. We walked around for the whole day. You didn't see any fucking, like, crazy people that you see on Fox News all day. It's like,
good point.
You don't see it unless you go, like, to maybe very specific places.
The concentrated protest zones and shit like that where people are making a spectacle.
And I was like, we are in the middle of the Capitol, and it looks probably the same as it did when you were a kid. You know what I mean? Like, it's most people are in that 99% of people or whatever, you know, it's probably like 90%, but like, you know, most people fall in that range. Like we're all just trying to live our lives. And that's why I think most people are like, you do what you want to do because I want to be able to do what I want to do.
I think if most people were honest, they'd be libertarian.
I agree.
The
it's so funny we started this podcast being like, we're not doing political, and then the whole back end.
I know. Well, here's the thing.
To be fair, we are fresh.
I'm right about it all. It's bottom line. No, I'm just kidding.
You are far right. No. Just kidding. Well, this is a fun, interesting.
You actually filmed it. You pulled your phone out. I was like, "What are you doing?"
I wanted to, but I was like, I didn't know how to do it without being like, I'm obviously screwing with Scott right now.
Yeah. I want to stir everybody up.
Well, it's funny because it was like you were sitting there going like, well, "What's the deal?" Like you would think in that situation you'd be like, "I can't say much," and then everyone was talking. And it was like free range and everything. Mm-hmm. But that's what I mean. It's like most people fall in that range where it's like you would think like as the white guy, they're all going to be like, well, of course you're going to the white guy, not the
I wasn't the only guy in there
but they,
thinking the way I'm thinking.
100%. The
owner.
The guy who owns a business is also
shocking.
Yeah.
Conservative, fiscally. Wild. Yeah, but it's like one of those things. And there was a few things that happened and I heard some murmurs and I was like, that's actually not how that works. You know, on both sides. Both sides. And then the one chick looked at me and she goes, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, I'll explain it to you after this break." But like, you're upset about something, you don't realize what you're upset about. If it was explained to you, you'd probably realize that you think more like me.
You know what the problem is during the debate this happened. They were like talking about abortion. They're talking about like Trump is like, oh, people had 7, 8, 9 months, and everyone the whole fucking bar was like, nobody does it. Maybe like one person. But it's like you were once again talking about the extreme.
That's right.
You're not talking about, and now I will say I have a whole joke about that whole whatever timeline you put on it is arbitrary.
Yeah,
like it's all made up. But it's like either you are or not to a degree. But I try to make that funny. But at the same time, God, this is getting overly political. But it's one of those. The whole everybody in there was like, why are we talking about like the one crazy person?
Because
why should that influence?
Because the topic in general has divided people into one of two camps, and they know that if they can rally one camp against the other, it's like
we should never watch that debate, dude. Now we're all politically charged.
You want to talk about bitch ass motherfuckers in the comedy scene talking
we don't
shit?
Do that either.
These bitch ass motherfuckers out there talking shit. I hear you. I hear you talking that shit. Go fuck yourself. Go listen to me. Go fuck yourself.
Are we gonna cut the whole back end of this?
Hell no. If you think I'm talking about you, I am. If you think I'm not, you're correct.
Yeah. To be fair, every comedy scene is this way.
Oh, I know.
And then, to be fair, like we're talking about Shane Gillis, the first like 3 years of this podcast is him being like, I hate every open micer. I hate everything I'm fucking about. It's him in Philadelphia just being like, I fucking hate this shit. They're all.
So like, should we switch gears and blow up as a podcast?
Yeah, we'll try. But
I'll start naming names.
But I think every single thing is that way. Yeah. That's why since I've ever came back, I was like, I am putting the olive branch out, and I know I'm gonna have to deal with so many egos, so much bullshit.
It's tough. It's tough being a couple of guys who are funny, want to book shows, who want to be kind to everybody. And
I'm trying to help everybody. You know, I mean, that's
everything
the hard
I'm
part.
doing is for everybody.
If you got your own way, I would help you. Like that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
it's like we're doing all the hard, heavy lifting. All you gotta do is show up and
be funny.
Be funny, and sometimes get paid for that.
Yeah,
because we
pay better than almost any other booking in town.
Yeah.
Does anybody book comics that pays more than us other than Comedy Zone? If you're a headliner,
I don't know. I probably Don't Tell does, but they don't do a lot of stuff.
I wouldn't know. I've never been invited to do a Don't Tell.
They don't do a lot of stuff with local comics. So
by the way, I don't want anything to. Well, okay. Yeah, I was accused of trying to take over Don't Tells. It's absolutely not true.
Yeah.
And people are out there insecure and telling stories.
Well, it did help that person get booked twice on that show, so she got what she wanted.
Sure did.
Yeah.
How about it?
That's crazy.
Weird when you think somebody's a friend and they're not. Stuff.
It's crazy. Can't wait till our falling out.
I already can't stand you.
Right when I show up during the zombie apocalypse.
You're like,
oh.
I think I remember you.
You're gonna be like, how do you make that generator again? I'll be like, batteries from the cars.
It's been a long time, Alex. How you been? What you doing here? Seems like I only have enough for me and my family.
Like, damn it.
Oh shit.
But yeah, there's been a little bit of turmoil with that. And the thing that annoys me the most is I've been the olive branch guy. Yeah. I've been booking people who I don't think are that good at comedy. Yep. And other people don't think are that good because when I book them, people are like,
really?
And I go, hey, if we're going to come together as a scene, we have to do this.
Yeah, I don't know that you come together as a scene. I think you get funny, and then you work on your own career through social media, and then you tell everybody else to lick the backside of your nuts.
I totally agree, but also for us to be producing shows all over town, we have to have other people to be on these shows.
Here's the deal. I want to book on one thing only. Can I trust you with a crowd of people? Because I'm going to work my ass off to provide a crowded room. Are you worthy as a comic? Are you funny enough to handle this room? If so, you'll get booked on my shows no matter what, all the time. If you are not, then you're not going to get booked. How that works.
I've joked about it because at Comedy Zone, for the first time, I did just book the boys. I was like, I'm booking my friends. And because it was like the day before, and I was like, I totally forgot to book this. Yeah. So I was like, to be fair, my friends are the ones who fucking reply the quickest. Yeah. Like if I reach out to somebody.
You're in communication with us all the time.
Yeah. But like if I reach out to somebody else, I'm like, I can't wait 2 days for you to get back to me right now. No. So, and that happens all the time. And so I was like, all right, I'm booking the boys. It's the best show we've had at Comedy Zones in a while.
Good comics.
And you're like, why am I trying to like do all this olive branch stuff? It's actually divided the team somehow.
Yep. Somehow.
It's
how the hell?
Even us right now, it's like we're kind of talking from an ego standpoint. But to be fair, I'm like, I have done the work to help you guys. So it is frustrating to be like, oh, well, one person goes and spreads a rumor, gets booked on shit. And you're like, okay, so I got to go somehow find this person and tell them it's all bullshit. And be like, obviously, look at our business plan. We're trying to grow our brand and not any other fucking brand.
Yeah. If we were going to try to take over a Don't Tell, it would be...
It's so funny we're talking about this like 6 months after.
It would be at the cost of our own brand and our own booking.
Anyone who's even talked to me in the last 2 years, I've told them exactly what my strategy is. It's get River City into as many rooms as possible and in different parts of town. So that way you're constantly getting ads from River City and build the brand that way. Right. I've been saying that for 2 years. Like since I got Comedy Zone, I've been like, I also want to do one here, yada, yada. And right now we're adding rooms because now that I have the free time to do it, I'm finally like falling through with it. Right. But like anybody can, with like any reasonable thing would be like, well, yeah, they've been saying this for 2 years. If I was.
Yep. Exactly. And we not only that, we're building Blue Jay up, right? Yeah. Trying to acquire other rooms, trying to make more opportunities for comedians, ourselves included. This is selfish. So we're doing it so that we can have more rooms, so we can perform in more shows.
The guy's hosting for at Comedy Zone 2-3 weeks ago. He goes, I don't know why people keep moving to New York, LA, Austin, all that shit. In today's world, you can stay where you're at, produce a bunch of shows, film every single one of them, get famous that way. Yeah. Jason Banks did in Columbus. Like, there's a bunch of other guys who've done like a similar model. Yep. I'm like, there's a route. We're lucky to live in a world where there's a route now. Yeah. Do the fucking due diligence.
Sidestep it all. You don't have to be there. And like...
And sitting around... Actually, I'm going to say this too. The thing that annoys me is sitting around... Like, some of these comics are sitting around hoping somebody like picks them up to go on the road. I'm like...
Not going to happen.
First of all, it's not going to happen. Even if it did happen, you're not getting paid a living wage to do that. You're getting paid like $400 a weekend or something like that. Right. Like, you have to build the thing.
You got to be able to sell your own tickets at some point.
I want to be able to make more off of that a week off of just the shows we're producing around here to probably put back into marketing. But like also like there's a route to do that doesn't involve even doing all the fucking travel to open for some guy, which doesn't even give you any publicity most of the time.
Barely.
Nobody follows the opener.
This dude, you know how hard I had to work to find the guy that opened for Shane Gillis the other day? I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if Shane Gillis was here, 100% of the comedians in Jacksonville would be there. So I was like thinking about like, I bet you every comic in Jacksonville who's not performing tonight is here at this show.
Probably.
There's like 18,000 people in there
that
so like
funny?
comedy.
At Comedy Zone, I'll see like a comic every weekend for like no name guys. But if I go to like go see like a bigger guy,
They're all
theater,
outside of
they're all there.
Yeah,
and it's
Florida
like
Theater. I was going there for a while. My schedule kind of got whacked, but I was actually seeing a lot of improvements, stamina. I was starting to see more definition. Actually, I was working out there for like 2 or 3 months, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I did a Blue Jay show, and somebody came up to me afterwards, like, "Dude, you look ripped." And it was like my shoulders and everything was just starting to tighten up. I still have a gut because I drink a lot of beer, but that's if I stopped drinking beer, it would melt off. Like, oh, buddy.
I'm sure, yeah. But all right, well, do we?
Oh yeah,
I don't think we could have pissed off anybody who didn't try to screw us
I
over.
don't care if it did. It is what it is, dude. I'm a grown man with a family and kids and a career that's trying to do comedy. Like, I can't make everybody happy. There's going to be somebody who's not happy. You know what I'm doing with all my free time? Trying to make the scene better for you guys while I try to get better at it. Like,
that's the frustration.
You get mad at you want, but like, and even like Voussoir these days, it's like, where's all these comics? Like, you guys are not showing up because there's like some sort of...
I don't think the comedy scene's like...
Is the comedy scene in general just not doing well?
Down. Yeah.
What's up with that?
I don't know. Actually, I kind of have. I don't want to say publicly, but
Yeah, we'll talk about it offline. Hey, maybe that's for the old Patreon there.
we don't have a Patreon.
No, we should. We got thousands of people that don't know about us yet. They would love a Patreon if they only knew. Yeah. Just kidding. All right. Hey, this has been fun. It's good to be back. I like our setup here.
Yeah, I do too.
This is going to be super fun. We're going to start putting this long format podcast video on YouTube. So you can watch on Spotify or listen Apple Music or wherever, but this will also be available on YouTube, long format, which will be really fun. This will be episode 1 launched on YouTube. What do you think?
I like the reboot.
Reboot. All right. Alex and Scott Show.
All right, bye.
Yes.